I made my first million at 29, and I will tell you right now, it's not because I am the smartest or the most strategic or even the most disciplined person in the room. It is something a lot simpler than that. In this video, I'm going to show you how everything you want in life comes down to two things. I'm also going to break down how impossible goals actually force you to become someone new, why living in your zone of excellence keeps you stuck, how to spot hidden programs running your life that can unintentionally make you choose struggle. So if you're ready to question everything you've been taught about success and see what's actually possible, keep watching. So I'll tell you that I turned 29 in 2019. 2016 is when I started my business. Before that, I was a dental hygienist. I thought that I was just going to do social media as this kind of little side thing. I actually didn't have any dream of becoming an entrepreneur. I actually didn't even really know what that was. I totally grew up under the common belief that you go to school, you get a 9-to-5, you have someone sign your paychecks and get 2 weeks of vacation a year and just be comfortable with that. So I think the biggest thing that's like my hack to life, something I will shout from the rooftops until the day I die, is this: the extent to which you can get everything you want in your life comes down to your ability to believe you can have what you want and then ruthlessly ask for it. If you believe that you can have it, but you don't ask for it, you won't get it. If you ask for it, but don't believe that you can get it, you won't have it. It's this intricate game where you really have to be firing on all cylinders. There's the belief cylinder, there's the ask cylinder. But the most interesting part of this equation, if I were to actually write it out, it would look like belief plus ask minus how. You're not supposed to know the how. A friend of mine, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, he wrote some of my absolute favorite books. One of my favorites is 10x is easier than 2x. This is like not just a must read, but a must read at least once a year. He talks about having impossible goals, that impossible goals are really the only ones worth having, because when you have impossible goals, it requires a new identity, a new level of you. Because if you knew how to achieve the goal, would it really be worthy of you? I want to have goals so big that they require divine intervention. I want to walk into a vision that makes me go, whoa, that's huge. How am I possibly going to do that? I have no idea. I'm not supposed to know how. If I knew how, it would just be doing more of the same. It reminds me of the flashlight analogy. Like if you're walking in the woods and you have a flashlight, you can only see as far as the light shines. But when you take the next step forward, you see a little further. Most people get stuck because they don't want to take that next step until they can see the entire path laid out. But that's impossible, and it will never be how you achieve really big victories. To try to reverse engineer where I am today would be impossible. Which also leads me to the next thing that I learned. I love the saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You cannot predict where you'll be a year from now or even a month from now. It was really freeing for me to realize that a lot of the best things in my life came unpredictably, like spontaneous. I couldn't even have imagined them. If I'd gotten what I thought my plan was, I'd probably be a dental hygienist working, maybe 4 days a week instead of 5, making maybe $80,000 to $100,000 a year, going on vacation 2 to 3 weeks a year with family, white picket fence in Canada, which is fantastic. Honestly, great life for someone. But God had better plans for me. And the things I have now, I couldn't have predicted them. Like moving from Canada to America in the middle of a pandemic and loving it, which is really interesting to me because as a kid, I had the American national anthem printed out and taped to my wall. I memorized it at 10 years old because I dreamed of one day living in America to be closer to Hollywood because I loved movies. It's kind of cool to me having a vision board before I even really knew what a vision board was. And often when you put these things on a vision board, you don't know the how. Sometimes you even forget that you set the vision in the first place because life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. So I didn't know that life would lead me to live in America. I didn't know that I would go through, at the time, a really traumatic divorce that would then be the catalyst to finding the best love that I didn't even know existed. I didn't plan on being an entrepreneur. The social media and the YouTube stuff kind of just fell in my lap. I didn't know how I'd hit 100,000 subscribers. It was crazy. Like within 9 months, we went from 40,000 subscribers to 100,000 from an old video that blew up. I'm saying all this to give you examples that you might have goals and plans and an idea of a direction that you want to go. But I want to encourage you to not be so attached to the exact vision or the how of getting there. Because if you have these big, grand goals, the how can come in ways that you never predicted. You could say, I want to make $1 million. And you think, okay, well, I just need to sell 1,000 product, so many times to so many people. But what if one day you're sitting on a plane next to someone who wants to buy your business and is ready to write you $1 million check? If you're too attached to the how, you might miss the opportunities that can just fall in your lap. And that's not to say that you shouldn't have a vision or direction, but just also be open to the fact that God or the universe or whatever you believe in works in mysterious ways. The next thing I learned about was zones of genius versus zones of excellence. Both sound good, right? Your zone of genius is that thing that you are just on fire with. This is your unique superpower. It's like you're such in a flow state when you're in it. Your zone of excellence sounds good too. We high achievers are always striving for excellence and mastery and high standards, but there's a big difference is that when you're in your zone of genius, it just flows out of you. You're in that magical flow state where 4 hours can feel like 4 minutes. It's the thing that makes you come alive, that if money were no object, it wouldn't change what you do. Your zone of excellence is something that you're good at. You can do it, but it doesn't really make you come alive. And a lot of people stay stuck there. Kitty interruption. Hello, I'm filming a video. Do you mind? A lot of people stay stuck there because sure, you get this validation. You get the dopamine hit of like checking something off your list, but you also stay there because it's your comfort zone. There's that saying, there's no growth in the comfort zone and no comfort in the growth zone. I'll tell you about a time where I was stuck in this limiting belief that kept me in my zone of excellence instead of my zone of genius. Steven and I have been together for 5 years, and for a long time we debated if we should do business together. We have very complementary skill sets. We both came from entrepreneurship backgrounds even before we started dating. It's actually part of how we met, speaking on the same stages and being in the same masterminds. And so we debated going into business together for a while for all the obvious reasons, like what would that do to our relationship? How would we overcome business challenges without letting it overtake our personal life? Part of it, which feels a little vulnerable for me to admit, was this limiting belief that I'm worried that I will lose myself next to Steven because he's this strong, powerful personality. There was this like little insecure part of me that was like, what if I'm outshined? What if I lose my spark? But it was actually Layla Hormozi who gave me the best advice to overcome that. She said, if you avoid a situation in which it's possible to lose yourself, you'll never be able to prove to yourself that you will not. And until you do the thing, you'll never know, and you'll base yourself on past experiences and reject it before it even happens. And so I realized how much of a limiting belief that was because of course, I love him so much. He's a genius. He should be on massive stages. It was totally this comparative thing because I had not put myself into a situation to overcome that, to prove to myself that I have that strength and expose myself to like, does it even really matter? Where did that belief come from? When we did go into business together, there for sure was this little transition period, figuring out who does what, like what our dynamic is, how that works. And I think that couples doing business together is incredible for personal development and growth and intimacy, like playing on the same team together. I know it's not for every couple, but it is one of the most rewarding personal and relationship development games that you can play to see how you can overcome obstacles together and work towards a vision together. So it helped me to see this little competitive and insecure part of me that was like, I don't want to be outshined. That desire to be seen was really just a false belief that I needed to see myself. I wasn't seeing myself in my own zone of genius. I was looking for external validation. And when I discovered what my zone of genius was and then owned it, everything changed. Because I realized that I'm a fantastic communicator and networker, and I can set a vision and believe in it and get the right people into place. I can create a strong why and build an ecosystem where everyone wins. I can certainly speak on a stage. I am a great teacher, an educator, an integrator. But when I let go of the I have to protect and keep my own spotlight, I realized I really don't care. Now, if we are asked to both speak at an event, sometimes I'll be like, hey, Steve's better at this topic. I'm good. And vice versa. Maybe he'll say, hey, that's a Marley thing. And we encourage each other to be in our zones of geniuses. There's times where we'll even catch each other and say, hey, you're doing that thing that you actually don't like. I'm good at it. Let me take it. For me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot that I could even ask for help. It's this constant reminder, like, who is the person to ask? What is the right question to ask? Because it could be, who has the ability to get me closer to the goal? And how might helping me also help them? Or what is the highest leverage activity towards this goal? What have I not considered? What would actually be a path to a bigger or easier outcome? Another lesson I learned was that as entrepreneurs, we are constantly reprogramming our minds. We have this subconscious program running in the background, kind of like how you have all those internet tabs open in the background. Like, it's taking up space, it's taking up RAM. I do this with my computer all the time. There are so many tabs open. Don't judge me because I don't want to forget them. It's like, I'll come back to it later, but do I really need that course from 2020 that's probably outdated that I'm actually not going to watch anyway? We do that with our mindsets too. So I grew up with the societal norm of like, go to school, degree, education, the safety of someone signing your paychecks, and then retire and hopefully have enough money to finally go on that dream vacation. Wah, wah. So the underlying program running in the background was success requires struggle. If that's running, what do you think you'll do? You'll make your life harder. You'll take the long way. You'll say yes to too many things because it feels valiant. That's a program that I had to realize that I was holding on to so that I could let it go. Because what do we hear growing up? Nothing worth having comes easy. Money doesn't grow on trees. What are some of the other phrases that you can think of that we hear that we just have to like absolutely let go of? I really think that the devil is in culture. He puts these beliefs into these catchy phrases that we say all the time, like ride or die, or pioneers take arrows in the back. No, I don't agree to that. So question the things that you believe. Question what you say and what you're choosing. Another huge key is that if you don't have what you want, it's because you haven't become the person who can have it yet. So who do you have to become to have that? What words are you speaking over yourself? Words are like spells. Like when you talk about, we're spelling our words, we're casting kind of agreements over our life. If you keep running into the same obstacles, you and only you are the common denominator. So what do you need to do to get over that? If you believe in a higher power, I think that's step one. Confide, ask for advice from that higher power. Get around people that you admire. If you wouldn't trade places with someone, why would you take their advice? Who has what you want? How can you skip the line? People say there's no shortcuts, but I completely disagree. I absolutely believe there are shortcuts, and they come from people. People can shortcut your growth by teaching you, by letting you absorb what they know. Dr. Benjamin Hardy, again, has another great book, Slipstream Time Hacking. He talks about how you can 10x your life from just one great relationship. Imagine hiring someone who's already done what you want to do. They could take you from 9 to 5 to 6 figures a year in months. Or you get married to someone who has a totally different ecosystem or societal status, and because of that background, you automatically like slip into this whole new environment. So hey, if there's anything that I want you to take away from this, it's that making your first million, or really whatever your goal is, isn't actually about strategy. It's really about who you are willing to become. Having the guts to believe that you're worthy of it, and the courage to ask for it, and the humility to let go of how you think it's supposed to happen. You get to choose to live in your zone of genius instead of getting stuck in the comfort of your zone of excellence. The constant need to rewrite the hidden programs that tell you that success has to be hard, because it really doesn't. We can find people to shortcut the timeline and collapse the learning curve and then show you how to skip the line. So if you're wondering when it's going to be your time, let me flip that. Okay, who do you need to become to have the thing that you want? What would it look like to start believing and start asking and start opening your hands to receive, even if you don't know the how? And if you want help with actually building the systems or the confidence, the content, the money machine that makes this inevitable, check out School of Money. I'll link that below. This is where we help people turn their big goals into predictable daily revenue and wins, and help you get paid to live fully in your genius. I'll drop the link below and hit subscribe because we're just getting started.